All right, let's get into how to play Grand Central Skyport at 2 players. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the Grand Central Skyport board in the middle of the table. You're then going to separate the Tycoons into their different types. Their types are listed on the back. You are going to want to shuffle up the Explorer and the Merchant ones. You can put the rest in their piles. Typically, these will be down here below the Promenade, but for ease of space, I have them up here, Promenade down here. Just know they are in relation to here. You are going to grab the stations that are not the starting stations. The starting stations will have a city name on there and on the back. You are going to shuffle up the stations, separate them into 2 separate piles, place them on the sides here where it says gain this airship. You can have them off to the side. I kind of have them overlapping. Again, space is at a premium at the present moment. You have these tokens for complete sets of icons and colors. You're going to stack them from highest to lowest. Seeing as it's a 2-player game, you can only ever grab a token once. I usually just put the 2 that we need on there. Next, you are going to prepare the airship deck. If you look at the bottom of the cards, they'll have numbers on them. This says 2, 3, 4. You're going to grab the cards with the numbers that have the number of players you're playing with. So these all have 2s. There are some that just say 3 and 4, so you'll grab those when you're playing with 3 and 4 players. And then the ones that just say 4, you'll be grabbing those with the 4 players. So with 4 players, you'll be playing with the whole deck. You are going to shuffle this deck up. You are then going to insert the station closing card on the bottom with 7 cards underneath it. So it'll be station closing, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This will then go into the middle of the board. You're then going to draw 8 station cards, placing them in the spaces around the board, like so. Each player is then going to choose a starting city, grabbing the stand E that matches that starting city, their stations, their airships. They're then going to take those stations and airships, place them in front of them, alternating airship station, airship station. Alternatively, you could have also gone this way, however you would like to do it. Just they are going to alternate like so. Each player places their standee over here in the promenade. And then they're going to draw 2 cards from the top of the airship deck. If they draw a wild card during this process, you're going to randomly place it back into the deck and draw again until you have 2 cards that are not wild cards. The first player marker is going to the player who most recently flew in an airship and begin. We did it basically whoever was the last one to fly. The game is going to play thusly. Players are going to be taking turns going back and forth, adding cards, stations, and tycoons to their skyport. That is going to dictate how far they move around this rondel, where they're going to be grabbing more cards and adding them to their skyport. You're going to play until that station close card is revealed. You're going to finish out the equal number of turns. Then each player takes one final turn before the game ends, and then we're going to score our skyports. So on a player's turn, they are going to be doing 4 phases. The first one is the arrival. That is where you're going to place a card into your skyport. So there are a few different cards. There are standard airship cards. These are these that you're going to get around here. You are going to simply place it on either end of your skyport. So if I was there, I could place it here. I could place it there. Typically, you are not allowed to place it in the middle. So I would simply place it there. For your basic airships, they are then going to have an ability that you will trigger in the next step. Couple other options for placing here is there are just the stations. When you place a station, again, same thing at either end. This would be in your hand when you go to place it out. You're going to place it at either end. The tycoons are going to get placed below an available station. An available station is one that does not have a tycoon in it. And the final one is these wild cards. When you play a wild card, you're going to play it into any lane, and then it's going to basically take on that color. And then every other player may move a lane in their skyport by 1 space, which I'll go over here in a second. So, as I said, when you place it, that is going to be the arrival step. Then you are going to go to the skyport step, where you're going to be rearranging the lanes in your skyport. A lane is considered a row of cards, whether it be one or many. Your skyport is your entire thing with your airships and your stations. So I have played this one. So this says swap with a green lane. So I'm going to take this. and then this is going to swap places with that green one right there. There are also ones that have you swap with any lane. There are instances of this one right here, where this is when you place this out. It says move left or right by 2 to 3 spaces. A space is the space between cards. So I could move it, it's 1. I can move it to here, or I could move it to there, and it would simply get placed in between them. So again, that moving left or right by that many spaces, in the instance of that wild card that allows your opponents to do it, they can move one lane up to 1 space. So let's say for my arrival, I end up placing this, and then in the Skyport, I move them around. After moving the lanes, you are going to see if you have 2 of the same color skyship next to each other. If you do, they are going to simply join, creating 1 lane of that color. This is the only time when you check, or after you get done moving is when you check for this, not when you placed it. So had my skyships been here, and I place this here, they would not join yet. You do have to move the skyship first before you check to see if it's going to join a lane. After the Skyport phase, you move into the Tycoon phase. This is when you are able to activate the abilities of certain tycoons that have an ability that activates during the Tycoon phase. So going over the tycoons really quick, you are going to see that they have a possible ability here, something that happens at game end. Another thing with tycoons is you're only allowed to have 1 of each type of tycoon. So if I have this explorer tycoon, I cannot grab another explorer tycoon. But so looking at them really quick is this one, the explorer ones, is after you play a certain symbol on a card, which is denoted up here, or a certain color. If your Skyport has at least this many of these symbols, you may move any other lane by 1 to 2, or you may swap them. So the powers kind of vary there. The merchant is very similar, except it's looking for different symbols. The diplomat is if your Skyport has at least this many tokens, then you can do an extra movement at the end of, or when you're doing the moving your little hot air balloon around, which I'll get into as the next step. The inventor is, this is an instance where if he is at this station here, you may insert airships to the left or right of this station. So that's the instance where instead I can insert this in here and then trigger its moving ability. But only where they are, he does not allow me to insert them next to that station. Then finally, the suppliers, when you add this to your Skyport, you're going to draw an extra card from the airship deck. And so basically you now have 3 cards in your hand for the game. They all also have an end game scoring, which I'll get into when we talk about scoring. But so the Tycoon phase is basically when you would activate your Explorer and Merchant. The rest of these are, you'll activate it when that specific thing happens. Finally, you'll move into your acquisition phase. So for the acquisition phase, you are going to move your little hot air balloon thing up to as many spaces as was denoted on the card that you played this turn. So we'll say I played this one, that gives me 1, so I can move 1 going in a clockward direction. If instead on my turn I had played this one with 3, I can move 1, I can move 2, or I can move 3. You do always have to move at least 1. So once you land on a spot, you are going to follow its instructions. And this one is, you may immediately move a lane that matches the color of this card by 1 or 2 spaces. So in this instance, you would grab this card, refilling it, and then following its ability if you're able to. This spot here and this spot over here is you either take the card or you take the top station, adding it to your hand. This spot up here, if you have a complete set of all 6 colors, you'll take the card and you can take the top chip, which will score you points at the end of the game. Again, you can only get 1 of these chips. This top spot and bottom spot is where you'd be getting the tycoons. So again, if you go here, you either grab the face up card or you grab one of the tycoons to be able to place on a later turn. This is the same as this one. That's the station. And then finally, this one is similar to this, except it's looking for the complete set of icons. Again, you take whatever the top one is. You can only have 1 of them. If you look on the station cards, they also have a movement, as do the various different tycoons going from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All the stations move you 2. So again, the game is going to end when that station closing card is revealed. You will finish out the current round, so everyone has equal number of turns, and then you'll all play one final turn. You'll then move into end game scoring. So this is an example of what your sky station may look, or your skyport might look like at the end of the game. So you're going to grab the score pad, and you are going to be scoring for the different colored airships and the tycoons and your complete sets. So when you score an airship, so let's go ahead and first look at our blue airships. You're going to look at all your blue airships. Hopefully you've gotten them together. So you're going to start by looking at them and counting how many stars are on them. If they are then attached to a skyport side or a station side of the same color, so this is attached to blue, you're going to count the star on the station. If there's a tycoon, you're going to count their star as well. So right now we're at 1, 2, 3. You are then going to times that by the number of cards in that lane. So in this instance 2. So this would be worth 6 points. Moving on to our green. Again, we are attached to the skyport. We do not have a tycoon. So it's 1, 2, 3 times 3 is 9. We look at our yellow. We have no stars. It's not attached to a station of its color, so it scores nothing. We look at our orange. Again, it is attached to one of its color. So we have 1, 2, 3 times 3, again, 9. We look at red. Red, you see no stars here. However, it is attached to a station of its color, so you'll have those 2. You have wild. Wild took on the color of red, so you have 2 times 2 is 4. Finally, purple. We look over here. It is not attached to a station of its color, but we have 2 stars, 2 cards, so 4 points for yellow. You then have all the various different tycoons who score a certain way. So at game end, the explorers are going to score, as long as you have 3 compasses, you're going to score 2 points for each compass. The merchant, as long as you have 3 of the crates, you're going to score 2 points for each crate. The diplomat wants you to have 3 tickets, and you're going to score 2 points for each of the tickets. Again, these are all located on the top of the cards. The inventor is you're going to score 2 points for each icon adjacent to this station. So looking here, 2 points for each one adjacent to the station. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 of them, so that would be 8 points. And the suppliers, you're going to score 3 points for each icon in your hand. Again, remember, he gives you, so you now have 3 cards in your hand. So again, you're going to check the icons and score 3 points for each one. You're then going to get any points for the tokens you've got. Even if you have a set of all 6 colors, if you have not received the token, you are not going to get points for that set. You need to get the token in order to get those points. You're going to total up those points. Most points, as usual, is the winner. In the event of a tie, the tied player with the most lanes is the winner. If still tied, the tied players with the highest total player movement values on all cards is the winner. And if for some reason you are still tied, well then guess what? You must play again, because there can only be one grand ruler of the Skyport station thing. All right, so that is the basics of a 2-player Grand Central Skyport. A lot of the little intricacies come more so in how the different cards do move around your skyships and whatnot. All right, but if I could go ahead and get you to head down below and hit like, subscribe, comment, share, ring the bell. All that stuff is appreciated. If I could also get you to go ahead and check out Miniature Market using our link down below, and then that will go ahead and have us get credit for your sale to help fund us with that affiliate link so we can get more games to cover for you. In addition to that, we have partnered with Dubby. If you go ahead and visit dubby.gg and use the code MEEPLES, we do get a portion of those sales back here to the channel. You also get a discount. Alrighty, so fly to the sky.